So Jordan Brand, they're definitely up to something. I'm talking about a highly anticipated release, which we actually saw drop earlier this year, which many people did miss out on that initial release. But we were quickly reminded last week as official images loaded via the back end, they were discovered on Nike servers, which reminded us of the planned re-release. So there's still a lot of mystery surrounding the drop of the Jordan 1 High 85 Bred. But apparently over the weekend, a big update was discovered. So we're going to touch on that as well as the latest sneaker news updates. To kick things off, we're going to start things off with something for the cheapskates. Everybody who's been holding out for a good deal. Hopefully, you didn't pay the reseller a penny over retail for any of these pairs right here, because it looks like Nike has a huge site-wide sale, which if you don't know by now, this year Nike's kind of been holding back as far as the discounts when compared to previous years, but it looks like we did get some Jordan retros, which actually made the cut. So first up here, we got the Jordan 1 High Self-Expression, which this sneaker is known for its multiple colored layers, which can be removed with just like easy everyday wear and tear. Or some people are actually customizing the pair to their likings, which is why you have the title, of course, the name Self-Expression. Now, the original retail, $185 with a 20% off discount, which is applied once you actually add these to your cart. You guys can grab these for just $148. Now we also got the Jordan 12 French Blue, which made the cut as well. This is a good one, which dropped years back, if you guys recall, during MJ's time with the Wizards, which I'm guessing is what the color scheme is based off of. Also, this is a pair which Kobe was known to rock during his little slight free agency sneaker period, of course, before he jumped over to Nike. So a lot of good memories when you talk about this sneaker right here. Plus, with Halloween right around the corner, you guys know this is a sneaker which goes very perfect with an outfit or a costume, which I would say people have been trying to recreate this look right here ever since this video dropped back in like the early 2000s. I can't even recall like what song this is. I mean, y'all see that boy Diddy right here. So as far as these joints, perfect sneaker if you guys want to take things back to that early 2000s type of vibe right here. Originally retailing at $205 with the discount applied. In cart brings these down to just $164. And on top of that, they got full family sizing available. So some slight little deals you guys can enjoy currently via Nike. Now switching gears over to New Balance, it looks like today they have officially unveiled the latest visuals for the upcoming Action Bronson 992. So the rollout's beginning for this highly anticipated sneaker, which is the follow-up to the previous Action Bronson 992, which it seems like this one's getting a lot more love than that one. But as far as the visuals, you know what I'm saying? Same old deal. Somebody out here, hitting up the woods, looking like they're tripping off shrooms or something like that, which always growing up, like I always wondered, like, what was the appeal of people like, taking these hikes through the woods and everything like that. But now finally, I've kind of realized here with the thanks of Action Bronson that these people are literally like rolling, tripping. So that's cool, man. So salute on that one. A nice little purple 992, which I'm guessing a lot of people will be excited for this pair to be dropping. Now switching over to Adidas. One thing when you talk about Adidas compared to Nike, which of course two of the biggest sportswear brands, would be their kind of innovation, the futuristic department, right? I think as far as Nike, they don't really put as big of an emphasis. They're more focused on like the retro stuff, although I love what they're doing over there with Zellerfield with the Air Max 1000. But when you talk about Adidas, this showcase, which they just recently had in Shanghai, just kind of gives you an idea of just how big, how ahead of the curve it seems like Adidas is when you compare it to the likes of a Nike, right? So as far as this first pair, these are a little wild, right? It kind of reminds me of something like what they've been doing with like the Clot. They're infusing these classic Adidas models with more like a platform, hard bottom, dress shoe type of vibe. You also got some right here, which looks like it could have came straight from the Yeezy catalog, which it looks like they're still pushing that futuristic look. These are pretty cool, right? On top of that, you got some right here, which I guess this is going to be the new Climber Cool. So again, something kind of giving that Yeezy-esque futuristic vibe. And then lastly, these look like something like Power Ranger boots type of joints right here. Red Ranger would definitely go crazy in these right here. So when you talk about Adidas, some futuristic, cool, upcoming models, which you guys can look forward to releasing from their catalog. And of course, speaking of Adidas, we got to look at a new colorway of the AE2, which they're calling Year of the Horse. According to Soul Retriever, these are set to drop spring 2026. So outside of the colorway, which feels like it's a perfect summertime vibe. If you guys haven't noticed by now, these do feature a little interesting material change, which I just wanted to kind of point out just because, with a slight detail change like that, it takes this silhouette to a whole nother level. Like compare this one to your standard AE2 and you see like the huge difference that little material change on the upper makes. And speaking of the AE2, we got the next color, the Blue Burst, which they're wasting no time following up that first With Love color. These are set to drop October 25th for a retail of $130. And what I love about the AE2 compared to like the AE1, it seems like Adidas is putting less like marketing, campaigning, like fake scarcity, hype and everything behind this drop. and they're just letting the sneaker sell itself, which that's something that I feel like is definitely refreshing, and I appreciate it nowadays with all these limited, like, super hype releases and everything like that. So drop your thoughts on the AE2. Have you picked up a pair yet? Now, we also have this Billie Eilish Jordan 15 sample, which I just wanted to touch on briefly, just due to the fact that I've grown such more of an appreciation for the Jordan 15, the model, which back when it originally dropped, I was like, what is going on here? But over time, I feel like they've aged nicely. This color is absolutely crazy, right? When we talk about a Billie Eilish collab, it seems like she took a little page out the Virgil book with the little print right here on the side. These are cool, man. Colors completely out there. These drop this sample service from 2021, which apparently was inspired by her Bad Guy music video. I'm not too familiar with her work, so comment down below. Let me know if that's your jam, if that's joint's a bop or what. But as far as the official Billie Eilish collaboration, which also did release in 2021, it seemed like they went with the sale pair, which was probably the safer bet, but these are definitely out there, and I thought they were worth a mention today. Now, as far as these Jordan 185 Breds, man, this one is crazy. Last week, internet was going crazy with the official images loaded up on the back end, but it's still a lot of mystery on when this sneaker is going to drop. But apparently, we did get a huge update over the weekend, which you guys know that Jordan book which dropped, how there was a standard edition as well as the special edition. I think the standard joint was like 123 bucks versus the special edition, which was limited to, I guess, 1,000 pairs, or my fault, 1,000 copies, and retail for 2,300 bucks. Well, apparently this dude right here, he purchased his pair over at Dover Street Market, NYC, and they blessed that boy with a free pair of the Bred 85s, the highly anticipated re-release, which everybody's kind of waiting on the details. So that's really cool. And if Jordan Brand is playing with us like that, when you talk about the chase for sneakers, right? Remember how everybody was complaining that these were limited to just like neighborhood locations for the initial release? If they're making you go out here and purchase like $1,000 book, bro, like just to be able to get a chance to grab these, like you could kiss this release goodbye. But as far as this case, it seems like this was just a one and done type of instance, as we have no other reports of anybody purchasing this book and actually receiving the sneakers complimentary. So this maybe seems like a one and done special event or something like that maybe Dover Street did. You guys got to let me know down below if you have any details or insight as far as this drop, because again, this is one that a lot of people are waiting on, so stay tuned for more details on that one. Maybe we could see a November drop, maybe December, but when you talk about November releases for Jordan Brand, the month is already pretty busy, right? Of course, you got a whole bunch of releases, but as far as the mainline retro drops, I mean, you guys see what's happening right here. Remember, Jordan Brand has like 1,000,001 Jordan 11s set to drop coming up this holiday season, so it looks like we actually got about 5 of those pairs, which are going to be hitting the streets coming up soon. You got a little kids women's pairs on the bottom, and then the heavy hitters featured on the top. So of course you got the classic Jordan 1 Chicago, the low top joints right there. A little bit of hype, for all the hype beasts and everything. The Travis 1 lows, which people have been waiting for. I'm tired of them joints, just ready for them to drop and we can keep things pushing. But then you got the interesting pairs on the top, right? So of course you got the Shadow 10s, right? Those are dope. You got the Black Cat 4s, probably the most highly anticipated drop of the month as far as like a GR, which is set to drop coming up on Black Friday. But the one, of course, y'all know if you follow the channel, I'm most intrigued by these Taxi 12s, which when you talk about stock numbers, it does play a big part as far as the demand. I'm curious to see, because we haven't seen these joints drop in a minute. We could get a situation where Jordan Brand like floods the market with like 100,000 pairs or something like that, which if that's the case, more so than likely, you'll probably be able to grab them joints discounted months afterwards. But if they keep these a little more limited in like say the 50,000 or under range, that's gonna be where things become a problem. So as far as stock numbers, my hope is that they flood the market with these. That way I don't really have to stress about this drop, right? When you talk about a shoe like this, I could care less about the hype and everything like that. I just need to get my pair just due to my personal connection with this release. So as far as the month of November, we'll see how things go. Maybe Jordan Brand can surprise us with these Bred 85s, but as far as the lineup that we see so far, I would say it's definitely a pretty decent month when you talk about Jordan retro releases. So as far as November, let me know which pairs you guys are most excited for. Are you checking for the re-release of these Bred 85s? What do you guys think about the AE2, as well as these more futuristic models Adidas has been pushing out to the market? We got the Action Bronson release on the way coming up soon, and for all the cheapskates they've been holding out, man, we got some pretty decent Jordan retros which have hit sale. 20% off once you add them via cart on Nike.com. So JATV, I appreciate everybody for tuning in. If you guys enjoyed this quick little Monday update, you can help support the channel. The best way possible is to smash the like button. Plus, if you've been enjoying the content, you've been watching for a little minute, and you haven't done so yet, consider subscribing. Come along for the journey. I appreciate you guys. Until next time, stay safe, stay blessed. I'm out. Love.